Welcome to the Black Gentlemen's Club, a space where we engage in candid conversations about challenges that Black men face and strategies we employ to overcome them. In this club, we share thoughts, emotions, failures, and success, while creating a platform that encourages growth and understanding. Now remember real quick, hit that subscribe button, follow, like, share, comment, and post. We're on all platforms for all your podcast needs. So today's host now, you have me, Cordero, you got my man Loki, you got Matt, and you got Trey. Now, Matt, man, you said you had something for us, something special for us. You had something that was on your mind brewing.
I like how you hyped that one up, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Actually, it is something that's been bothering me lately, and I think that a lot of what's been bothering me is failure. Like that series is straight up and down is failure. Like, but it's not just the act of failure. It's like what happens after you fail. Don't that make the true difference in who you are, how you move, like what's going on? So, I recently had a conversation with my lady, my wife, and she had some feelings about a situation she was dealing with. But those feelings about that situation she was dealing with were because she was getting treated badly in her sense. But it was because of her friend going through something in their marriage, feeling like they're going to fail. She's going through a lot. And I ain't saying they're going to fail. I hope they don't fail. God, please forgive me for that one. But she's going through a lot, so she's treating her, in a sense, not the greatest.
So are you saying your friend, her friends treating your wife badly?
Yeah. So you know how like when somebody they mad or they're upset or they're hurt or they feel defeated, that they take it out on other people.
Oh yeah, you start lashing out to the one closest to them.
Yeah, there you go. That right there,
indirect, ain't it though?
Indirect, man. Come on, man. Talk about it. Yeah. But like, so it made me think about what we do in a sense, because my wife felt like she was so mad that she was being treated like this, that she was going to cut her friendship off. And I don't think that's what she truly wanted to do. In her heart, it hurt because her friend was everything to her. So I told her, you have to understand that people in life are going through things. You know, stressors of life tear you down, where you felt like you were supposed to achieve something, you failed. You lost it. It hurt. It's pain. So I recommended that, hey, you just take patience and understand that she's going through something and let her live her life and figure this thing out. But it triggered this thought of failure because for her friend, when your world crashes, what do you do after you feel like you've lost everything? What do you do about that? Do you keep going? Do you quit altogether? Do you bounce back? Like, what do you do? So when you guys fail, in a sense of, I just gave a random example, but like, if you guys fail, how do you bounce back? Like, what do you do about that?
Really off top, you got to accept the failure point, right? Like, very first thing I do is I got to come to the actualization that I failed. Ironically, I was looking up something real similar and just looking at the age ranges for people that were successful. And today, I found out that a couple big names that we know failed so many times, like a gentleman named Jane Combe who founded WhatsApp. He failed until he was 35 years old. That's when WhatsApp actually took off. Of course, looking at some of the bigger names like Elon Musk and Mark Cuban, a lot of them didn't start making any profit until they was 25, 30. And they have a string of businesses before that were failures. And it's just the same thing. We only talk about the success stories and not the failure stories. So for me, my first thing I'm going to do is admit to myself that I did fail, which is not a bad thing. You know?
That's real. That's real.
I mean, I agree, but only to a certain point. Only reason why I say that is because I don't think as a person, we're not really viewing the failure based off where we're at now. I think failure comes from looking at other people's lives and their start points, and they're, pinpointing to specific times in a timeline to say, okay, I have failed because I have not succeeded or surpassed what so-and-so has.
Show comparison.
But most of the time we don't look back and say, okay, I started from here. They started from there, right? So if me and you running a race and you already ran 3 laps, if I give up because I'm 1 lap behind you, I didn't start where you started. You know, so I think failure is one of those things that's only given a name when you actually do give up. Because if you don't give up, you don't fail. I never gave up, so I never failed.
That's it.
Goddamn.
Nah, man, hey, shit, real talk. I ain't gonna no cap though. He said it. Shoot, I agree, man. One reason why I agree too, definitely, because I don't look at failure as the end.
Mm-hmm.
I never looked at it like that. I failed at plenty of things, but those failures is where I learned lessons from. Like you can never know how to get better if you haven't succeeded.
Right.
You can never know where you're going if you get lost. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to get lost sometimes. You have to make mistakes. You have to fall. You have to like just mess up. You know how many businesses I started that didn't go nowhere? They didn't even get past to the point to where I can put product out. Like, like so it happens. But the thing is that I learned different nuances of business or different things that I've glossed over because I rushed the process instead of trusting the process, going through it, and saying, "Okay, cool, that didn't work. Let me fix that piece." But the thing is, we like to try to hairpin, supersede, and microwave things that we skip the steps and you skipping steps can cause you to so-called fail, but it's not really a failure, it's a stumble. You can get back up. It's not saying that you can't get up. You can get back up and keep going. It's all about your perspective. But for me, my foundation goes back to God. So I put all my foundation back in God. So I look at Job. I look at different people I can relate to. Like God is sovereign. He has authority over all of it. So regardless if you think I failed, I really did. It's up to him if I failed or not.
True.
What the button said, message.
Now, so from basically what I'm hearing is that all of you learned from your failures in a sense of they really weren't failures because you learned something from it, which was probably just a mistake in a sense, and you got better until God said otherwise, right?
Right.
But we're all still here, right? So really, there's no failure. Like, there's just lessons. Like, dead serious. All right. I respect that. Okay. So, I don't want to take it to relationship stuff, but I kind of
have to do it.
Sound like we going there, though.
It sounds like it, right? It sounds like it. But like, okay. But how do you try to put that? Is it a lesson in marriage? Like, how do you know your marriage failed? Because there's a lot of divorce, right? There's a lot of people quitting. There's a lot of people that's done with this.
You answered
it. When they quit.
Well, bring it back to me because I ain't here.
When you quit in your marriage, when somebody quit, you can't try. Like, what if I'm trying to pursue or make us whole and you quit? It ain't no us. It's just me trying to better what I have put into our relationship. You already gave up. So at that point, it's like, I'm putting in all of this in the piggy bank. But if you get better and you decide, okay, now I want to try. Okay, let me just go double dip inside of this piggy bank. But you ain't put nothing inside. So you answer the question when you quit.
But at the same time, ain't you saving for both of y'all? So maybe she's tapping your reserves that you saved for the relationship anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can be the 90% giving the most work and your partner giving 10, but y'all still actively working towards 100.
So what's she doing with her other 90%?
She's using up with your reserves, but guess what? She should have you stacking up. When she gets stronger enough to put her extra coins in the bank, she got you when you weaker.
Well, then I think it goes down to this piece. The issue is this: it's intent, right? So I think it boils down to intent. It's still, if you quit, you pretty much gave up on the marriage. Like I told one of my cousins, you can't practice being married until you're married. I don't care how many relationships you think you've been in, you can't practice being married until you're married, because the way God designed it, it will expose everything about both of y'all. It will expose your weakness,
and it does.
Your strength, her strength. It'll expose everything about both of y'all. And I understand what you said, Loki, about the 90% and 10% piece, but it's a point in time where your spouse also has to mature enough to know when not to take that piece. Also has to understand when to don't touch it. Let me also add into it, because once again, you only get in what you put in. You can't get out what you put in.
So it sounds like you got to prepare for failure regardless. Because if you got to learn the lesson, you got to prepare for your partner to fail.
You can't prepare for failure. You got to prepare for success. You got a valid point.
Okay,
Loki got a valid point, though. He got a valid point. But in a sense of, why would you prepare for failure, though? It's like you're building an airplane to be built to crash versus soar.
Damn.
You can't have both. You can't prepare for success and failure. You got to choose a side. It's just like good and evil. You got to choose a side and you got to run your path. If you may feel like you're a failure, you got to think, okay, I am planning to succeed. So let me keep pushing forward. But you got a point, no. You're speaking more in the marriage when it comes to the old school type marriage. When you got 90,
I love analogies. So I just updated my iPhone, right? It's iPhone 7. I expect my iPhone to need an update, which means it's a vulnerability, a weakness. I expect it to be a weakness in my marriage or my relationship because we still growing. We're gonna die and evolve every week, every year, every month. Correct. So I expect failure to happen to make a better version of us.
But okay. So once again though, but that's not quitting though. When Matt was talking about was quitting, you're talking about a lesson. You're talking about preparing for contingencies just in case.
That's failure though too.
No, but that's not failure. That's not a failure in a marriage because for one, you grow together. You haven't came apart. Did you come apart? Did you say no?
Divorce?
Did you divorce?
We ain't divorced, nah.
So it's not a failure.
That's what he's
saying. But it is. It can. You speaking of an ultimate failure maybe, but it's failure points all throughout marriage, all throughout relationships.
Okay. There's weak points throughout the whole entire marriage, but there's not failure points throughout the marriage.
You saying if you die, you saying that's your ultimate failure, you die, versus you breaking a bone or.
No, it's not a failure if I die. It depends on how I did it. If my stupid self go out
there. There we go. Now you're getting to where I'm at.
On a road. Of course, I plan to fail.
Mm-hmm. Now you're getting to where I'm at. Because all I know, you can't fail if you stay alive.
But no. So what y'all both are arguing about, Trey is saying you plan to succeed, right? Like with an airplane. Nobody builds an airplane to crash, correct?
Right, I feel it.
However, you get a briefing, right, about safety precautions, right? What's the reason for safety precautions? Just in case things happen, but they're not planning to crash. They're telling you just in case if it does happen an emergency, use these things. That's why when you're married, if it's an emergency or you think you're about to fail, use these tools.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
I got one question for Loki.
What's up?
And then I ain't got nothing to say about that topic. Okay, so I'm gonna drop one question now. If you and your spouse are married, right? To death do us part, sickness, health, blah, 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 all of that extra goodness. If she comes into the relationship prepared to be divorced, if she focusing on you guys moving up in levels inside of your relationship, or is she preparing for y'all to fall down? Because if she truly knew that you guys were going to succeed, it would be no room to prepare for a divorce, a failure.
I would say that we have to strive to be Christ-like, but we know we can never achieve that. You understand? I feel that also when you take a shot, sometimes it's okay to lower your expectation. Curry do not hit 100 shots every week. He know he's going to miss one or two. So I'm not saying you focus on the failure point, but you also have a realistic expectation. That's why one of my topics today, which I'm going to go right to now, is our social media expectations and realities. We are so stuck on stuff that we put out there that the reality of failing is a negative. It's not a negative point. It's a reality that it is going to happen to everybody. So if you are truthful with yourself, you understand that, we are going to fail. There's nobody in any marriage that's not failed. Maybe not the ultimate failure of divorce, but you're going to fail. So now knowing that we're going to come in, I'm not expecting a perfect relationship from you. It's going to be failures, but we are going to still try and be the best version of ourselves.
I think the word failure, though, when you're saying that, it's not the appropriate term for that.
That's what
That's what Mac wanted to use. That's what I'm going with.
I respect that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but like you said, fall short, or if you make mistakes, or there stumbling blocks, or there are obstacles in your marriage. Because, for example, like with me, I'm using myself as an example. Like I'm very short. Like I'm direct to the point about X, Y, and Z, so it comes off as harsh. So I have to watch my tone sometimes, or watch how I say things, or what I say, and then even like certain things I used to do, like going out all the time. My wife didn't respect, didn't like that. I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking about I ain't doing nothing. I'm just going out with my homie. I'm not doing nothing crazy. But it's the optics of the thing that still threw it off. You know, so like I have to keep in mind those boundaries, but that's not a failure point. That's just me being negligent and being naive. And now that I
So,
know, I do those things.
so let
Beating
me
around
let
the
me say
bush.
something real quick, because y'all going wild with this, and I'm loving this shit. I'm eating this shit up. But okay, so from what I gather, all right, a failure, and you call it the ultimate failure, low key, is the divorce. That's the end of that. That's done.
That's
That's
just
the
him.
failure.
That's just in my viewpoint. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
might not be for everybody. But that's just my viewpoint.
But we're talking about the same thing, but what they're calling it is a lesson, or in a sense, a mistake, because it's not going to end there. As long as you guys are still connected and you're still trying, those are lessons that you learn from. They're not failures. Now, if you set a goal, or you might have short-term goals that you set in place that you might not achieve, is that what you calling a failure for your relationship?
I think anytime in a relationship that we're not on the same page, we're not communicating properly, we're not aligned, it's a failure point. So
Ooh, hold up.
it's like failure is not a bad thing. It's just literally like we becoming more aligned over time. So like Cordell said, at one point his mindset was me going out partying or whatever is cool. That was not what the relationship was actually valuing. So he failed in that aspect of the relationship. He grew from that failure, and now they're more aligned. So for me, when I don't understand my wife or I don't do something that's correct, it might not be the wrong answer, but it is the wrong answer for my relationship. So it was a failure point.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
No, I understand.
You harsh with it.
That's why I say, I be honest with you, I agree totally. Because you know why? Because I say the same thing. Because you know me, I'm direct. I say the same stuff, but I'm playing devil advocate but the definition of failure is you have lack of success. You also have an unsuccessful person, enterprise, or thing, the omission of an expected or required action, lack or deficiency of a desirable quality, the action or state of not functioning, a sudden cessation of power, or the collapse of a business. Those are the definitions of failure.
Damn, it's a lot.
So you have like six of them in total. So you have the different definitions of failure. And what you're saying is absolutely right. I just think that once again, we always talk about it's how you say it. Remember, you told me that. You taught me that part.
Yeah.
You say it. So
go ahead.
So when you're saying failure in something, whether it's a marriage, a business, or whatever it may be, that part is always it's like I said, it's supersized. It's like blown up to scale, like out of scale to air. It's like a red light is on it. It's like fix it down, and if you don't fix it, then it's over.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I get what you're saying.
I think instead of probably us using the word failure going forward, maybe a different word, you know, or a different way to describe it than failure, because
I like friction better. I like to say friction.
He said friction. All right.
Because if I think about it, let's put a big topic out there. A lot of people will consider Jada and Will a failed relationship. They're not divorced, but they would consider that a failed relationship. Why? Because she disrespects him constantly online. Why? Because, you know, Will looks like a weak man or whatever to public. Is that failure to him? He might say no, because he's still putting in 1,000% from what I can see. So it might not be a failure, but to the world, it might be, you know what I mean, a failed relationship. Yeah. So it's all perspective.
It definitely is perspective, man. But I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to relationship, I personally feel like fuck the outside opinion of your relationship.
Right.
Because real talk, they don't have any merit on what happens in your home and what works for your home. So I do get the failures, but those are things that you put on yourself, or things that you put on your relationship that you wanted to accomplish together, but it didn't work out like that. But I don't always see those as failure either. I see them as sometimes, you know, if me and her didn't communicate, we had to learn. If my business didn't sell products, I had to learn how to sell products. It's a business. Like if I didn't do the work, I ain't gonna get the desired outcome. But sometimes you might not know the work. So it's not really failure, in my opinion. I feel like it's failure when it's done. Like, in my true opinion, because my business has been running for 3 years right now, and I haven't made much money. Is that a failure? I would feel like it fucking is, right? But the reality is, no, my business is still growing. It's still succeeding. It's still lasting. It may be close to failure, but it ain't there yet. You know, it's an ongoing thing, but it's a lot of things I got to learn and a lot of things I got to do and research to make it a success. It's more work.
Let me ask you a question real quick then too, since we on it. So relationships is one thing in the household, But what about our partnership, a friendship, a brotherhood? How do you know our brotherhood's failed? How do you know our friendship is failed? When is it time to quit and throw in the towel? We got 4 men right now on the phone. So when is it time? When do we see that it's time?
For friendship?
Go.
Yeah, for a brotherhood, for a friendship, for
You that's a strong word, brotherhood, and you put that in the same category as failure. If we got the brotherhood, I understand that life happens. So if my brother ain't hit me up immediately, I'm thinking something must be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm checking in, I'm clocking in. It's the same concept. If you supposed to be my brother, my family, anybody, and you ain't heard from me in a while, you supposed to be tapping in. So it's not really a failure when you use that word brotherhood, in my opinion, because that's something that means like, okay, we got each other regardless. Rain, sleet, snow, hurricane, middle of a tornado. I got your back, you got my back. 12-6. So
But
if we failed as a brotherhood, you was a snake in the grass, cuz it ain't no other way around.
That's my dog.
respect.
That's my motherfucking
What you got,
dog.
Mac? I know you got something to add to it.
No, I'm just saying that's true. That's true as fuck. But I feel like people sometimes mistake who their brothers and who their, associates and who their friends. And I feel like you got to be clear on like what it is that you want. And honestly, the way to do that is to be honest, be real. You ain't got no reason to lie to your brothers. You don't. Like I don't see a reason, bro. Whatever y'all niggas go through, I got you back. I'ma also tell you if the shit was stupid that you did some dumb shit. Like real talk. But we brothers, and that's why we gotta talk like that, because I can't just be co-signing on shit that's gonna send you away, pushing your life to a bad direction. I'm not finna do that. Brothershood gotta withstand that test of time, gotta withstand life. But it's the same concept in any relationship that you build. But it gotta be both parties doing that.
That's what I'm gonna tell you too, because I feel like in my aspect, my perspective now, I feel like when I realize I'm wasting your time, I don't want to, regardless if we brothers or not. If I feel like I'm no longer what you need in your life, sometimes I remove myself. I don't need you to remove me from your life. I'll be like, yo, my direction and where I'm going is not going to elevate you. And it might be selfish in some ways for me to decide to do that, but a lot of times I see us carrying so much baggage and weight as black men and as family members that sometimes we don't know how to let go. And I know a lot of conversations we have, we do so much, and it's like it's selfish of me to keep dragging. If I can't keep up with what your ambitions are, I can't support you in the way that you need to be supported to elevate. Then let me remove myself. If it's temporary, it's temporary. But I need to sometimes make the choice and not have to make you also always be the one to say, it ain't gonna work out.
That can be the push they need, though.
It could be.
You letting go you could be watering the seed.
It could be. It's seasons. It's seasons. I understand that. Was it seasons for Migos and that split? I mean, it's but they tough. Still brother.
Like Gates said, you just releasing them with love. Gavin Gates said that you releasing them with love. I mean, I'm saying, I love you. You my brother. You my sister. But I can't do nothing for you. We ain't on the same path like Loki say, so I'm releasing you with love. It's all love. Like, you just gotta go your separate ways. I'll meet you on the back end. I'm gonna take
that.
Yeah, I think for me, I can't say I'll release you because I have different tiers of friendship. Not everybody's a brother. I'm gonna tell you that now. So like I have different tiers. So some people I don't talk to the same way I would talk to y'all, right? Because their mindset is not even ready for that type of conversation. But mind you, the conversation that they want to have, I don't get that low and have certain conversations like that. We still kind of keep it a middle ground, what we know or what we've been through. Okay. But certain things I don't let certain people around because they don't feed into what I'm doing. Like, if you're not feeding into what I'm doing, I'm not gonna let you in that. Not in it. If I'm not feeding into you, I'm not letting you into that. Because there's no point of me if we exchange information and we exchange things that can help each other grow, then we're gonna do that. But then, our bond will get deeper and deeper over time, and I can really see whether or not you really are a brother or not. And then if you're not, it's going to show itself. It will. But for me, I'm understanding that, hey, like Trey said, things happen. But we can communicate, we can be honest, we can be open. But when you have your other friends, you got friends you grew up with when you was a kid. I got friends I grew up when I was a kid. I still hang out with them when I go home, talk to them, but I don't hang with too long because certain things that some of them want to get into, I ain't getting into. So I'm gonna go over there, and they know that, and they respect that. So we keep it mutual like that. But other than that, it's I don't say I release them, but the levels of conversation, the levels of access are different.
Yeah.
I just say like that. The level of access is totally different. Like, like it's like when I was working for like some of the generals and stuff. Like the level of access that I had to people, it's not the same level of access that other people had.
Gotcha.
So,
now I respect that.
That's interesting.
I respect that, bro. You know what? I have this thing that I kind of live by because I can't control nothing but really myself, and only God really control them steps. I don't release nobody. I let you live your life however you're gonna live it, but I'm always here if you're ready to talk about some shit that's gonna better you. It don't matter who you is, it don't matter where you came from, don't matter what your fight was, cause I got cousins in jail with their mama right now. Like, the shit is crazy. But one day, you never know, and time heals all, time tells all. Time they gonna come down the road and they gonna be like, hey, cuz I really appreciate you being there, even when I wasn't ready to be there, Cause people battling this shit, bro, all the time. Like mental health, illness, and all kinds of shit, bro. I never know what you're going through, so I'm not gonna be the one to judge you, but I will be here, and if I can help, I will help. If I can't help, though, I'm gonna let y'all know I love you, bro, but I can't do it for you. But I love you. Come hit me on the first. Like, hey, it be like that sometimes. But I mean, that's just how I move, and I think that it's worked pretty well. So I stick with it. I mean, what can you say?
Who's guiding your timing? Like what? Because I think sometimes we lean so much into our own understanding that sometimes we make timing moves that ain't in alignment with God's timing. You feel me? So like, do you seek devotion from Him, or do you just kind of move off your own emotions, or like what would tell you when to move from somebody?
Well, I'm gonna take that like it's directed at me, then I'm gonna pass it. All right, but God guides all my steps. Hey, for real though, like, bro, I promise you not. And I'm gonna be real, I don't even go to church, right? But when I tell you God is the head of my life and my family's, it's what guides us, bro. And no stress that we can control are we trying to stress about, and we still do. But we leave that with God, and I just pray that God has aligned my steps with His. And I walk in that way. I don't let nobody put me in something I'm not ready to be a part of. I don't jump into situations I can't get myself out of most times. But if I do, then God got me, because join the army, nigga.
Get some help.
But for real, God got my steps, man. Allie to something, I don't know.
I agree with that.
Most of the time, not all the time.
Most of the time.
I mean, I try to, like you said, let God guide my steps. But, like, I mean, that all comes back to who you want to be as a person. That's it. Like, if you're going to be true to yourself or true to the character that the world tell you to portray, that's what it'll all lead back to. I think if more people had the mindset like you just broke it down, it wouldn't be so much conflict in the world. Cause, I don't know. But I'm going all off. I'm finna go on a philosophical journey, so I ain't finna go that way.
Go ahead, take your time. The floor is yours.
We take it there on this. We take it there on this show.
That's what we here for.
Take your time.
People don't really, be seeing friendship, brothership nowadays. I think the generation that came after me, not y'all, or the people after us, or the people before us, but the generation that they don't really see friendship like that. It's all about business moves. How can I use this person to get to where I'm trying to go? And when I get there, it's good times.
Purely transactional.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Imagine.
So,
fucked up.
You got me thinking about, since you're talking about the next generation too, something that's been on my mind heavy. So I got a 4-year-old, for y'all that have been listening for a while. He just turned 4. And I'm really like, it's been heavy on my heart of like, how can I reclaim my child's education? So we already know how the educational system is, how it's certain things is getting erased from the history of like what they're learning, and it's shifting their whole mental development. So it's like, as a community that we know that this is happening, how can we protect our kids' minds and let them develop in a way that's not politically charged.
We gotta let them be our legacy.
The last part kind of got me. We said politically charged. It's kind of hard to escape that piece. The politically charged part. Because once they're out your house, it's their eyes and ears are open to whatever could be out there. It's not. Only thing you can really do is really start governing inside your house and start teaching them and being role models and showing them the values and the standards that you all want for your child, as well as what you want them to learn. And then you have to look at what they're learning in school. Because my daughter, she's in school. So the same thing with my son. My daughter's in middle school. My son's in elementary school. So like we look at what they're getting, bringing back home, the things we ask them what they learned in school. We talk about it, stuff like that, and then I try to show them certain things from history, especially our Black history, so that way they can understand who they are, where they come from, even their native side. Because my wife is Alaskan Native and Black, so I like to show them stuff like that as well, so that way they can see the full picture of their history. Because we don't typically learn our history like that.
And I think that's where our skin tone lost. I think we should always be, from generation to generation, we should be sharing our history. Because that's the only way we're going to truly know how to mentally survive in this world that's not built for us. So, like you said with your son, you just got to continue installing that knowledge inside of his brain. And as he grow and move and maneuver in this world on his own, he got to know that you always there, regardless. So our history is what keeps us going. Our history is what keeps us understanding what's happening in this world. Because if you didn't know your history, seeing a Black man get his knee put on his neck, we will understand what's going on. But the more and more and more we pass history down, the better we get to understand and process how to maneuver and win in this world that's not built for us.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying.
I want to add something to what he said too, because that brings me back to kind of answer your question too. Because I'm thinking about this all the time. My daughter, by things that I see on TV from other women, or even on Instagram or YouTube, or the things my daughter watches. We try to see what she watches and stuff like that, because being looked at as promiscuous or ratchet, like these are the representations that we see of our own people on TV all the time. And it's crazy that Cardi B or Sexy Red can go to the White House when somebody that's down the street that's doing something else can't go to the White House and be invited to a certain type of event. But these people have an open platform because they have a following to be able to do X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying Cardi B is stupid. She's not stupid. None of that stuff. I'm just saying that it's crazy how they pick and choose who they want to put in front of everybody and say, this what represents us, because you don't see them doing that. And so I try to teach my kids to have that self-respect and that they understand how to carry themselves. I told my daughter, look at your mom, see how she carry herself. Model that piece, because my wife ain't out here doing God knows what. Watch your mom, watch how she carry herself. Just stuff like that. Just it's still a part of education is what I'm thinking about.
Do you trust your neighbor to raise your kid? Like, I think that's what I think is missing right now is that that community base of. I think we used to have enough common sense as a community in the past where our neighbors could actually raise our kids on the same level that we needed them to be raised.
In the day.
Yeah, when we was kids.
When I go to my neighbor house.
I know your neighbor was really your cousin though.
Yeah, straight up.
Maybe somehow like people down the line, you like, damn, I know you. The whole.
You got the whole block. Didn't even know it.
Yeah, I think that's what we're missing right now, like big time. And
too many weirdos in the world today.
Yeah,
that's my point. That's my problem.
I'm unfiltered. I'm sorry. I'm saying it's too many weirdos in the world, and I got a little girl, so it's too many weirdos in the world to be like, okay, you can go chill at the neighbor crib unless I have vetted you. Like, let's just say Loki moved next door to me. We doing the show. Okay, cool. Go chill over Loki crib because I know you. I know where your mentality lies. But it ain't back. They ain't back like back in the day. Like people would do the craziest thing for money these days.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Especially with child trafficking. Man, stop it.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. Like
Super
it's
real. It was
real.
an Amber Alert today. Shit
Yeah.
crazy.
So
But you know
I
what?
don't think we have that. We need that
What?
elderly, like we had the generation that raised us.
Mhm.
They was community based. They was strong. Like
Mm-hmm.
the grandma cooked for everybody in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. Everybody dog eat dog world every day. So
You know, that's some real shit. So I'm kind of conflicted about it though. And I'm gonna say because I feel that it takes a village to raise the kids, right? And they say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, but the village got to be vetted because even back then, a lot of bad shit was happening to our family members, even through family members, whether it
from
was
family
rape,
members.
stealing each other's shit. Like it was a lot of fucked up shit that was happening. And I feel like a lot of that village that was raising these kids was based on like survival. And that's why the village was the best thing to raise a kid. I still feel like a community in a village is required though, because I can't do this shit by myself. My kids need their aunts, their uncles. They need, outside because all they see is me and their mom, and we ain't perfect. There's some
Mhm.
shit that we gonna miss, some shit we not gonna do right, and they need to see that on the outside too, or they need to have some. I don't know. It's just different perspectives, but I'm kind of torn on that.
I think the community piece doesn't mean directly your neighbor. I mean, back then it did,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now with social media and then also technology, walls have kind of been torn down, right? So our
Mhm.
barriers been
Yep.
broken. So, like for example, like I can have my kids go over to your place and I'd be comfortable with it,
Mhm.
right?
True.
I won't have no issue with it. Like I can say, hey, call Uncle Matt, call Uncle Loki, call Uncle Trey. Like,
Mhm.
hey, call them up, hit them up. You got questions, hit them up.
Yeah.
I can do that. So
Mhm.
even like going back and forth to Fayetteville, or going to Georgia, going to wherever I'm at, just saying, hey, look, I can bring them over to my cousin's house, my friends, my friends who I really trust. Like you said, it's about vetting because, like you said, back then you can only vet by what they showed you, right? You didn't
Mhm.
have the ability to go back and back and back and back and see if
Okay.
anybody has changed. But nowadays you can do that. But I mean, community is going to be everything. But I think if you choose the right people as the parent,
Mhm.
or if you even like how I used to do it when I grew up, anybody want to go spend the night at their house, their mom had to talk to my mom, right?
Mhm.
Right,
We
right, right.
try to broker deals and shit on the backside.
Yep.
Be like, hey man, hey, I'm trying to come over to man. Hey, have your mama call my mom. You trying to broker
Yeah.
deals before you get to
Yeah.
the house, and you get to the house like, hey man, such and such say call her, and they call each other. Like, I didn't say call me, like, and you getting cussed out,
Yep.
and you like,
Be in
please, can
trouble.
I go to such and such house? And you like, yeah, and they got to talk to them. A lot of times, the people you went to church with are people
Yeah.
that you
Mhm.
knew and they grew
Good
up
night.
with, and they introduced you with their kids and so forth. Y'all had a bond. So that's how. But nowadays it's not like that. Everybody's so secluded.
Mhm.
People don't really want to talk. People don't want to even meet their neighbor that lives to the left or to the right of them.
Mhm.
So it's or even across the street. I mean, I don't know.
That's
I think we have to just probably just have more conversations as parents to parents.
Mhm.
Or if our kids meet and our kids like each other or like to hang out, then we should be able to go, hey, let me go meet their parent and see what they're about. Because my daughter always want to do sleepover or something. We like,
Yeah.
nah, because for me, I haven't met the girl's dad. I don't know her dad.
Challenge. That's your
Yeah.
challenge right now. I want that to be your challenge this week.
I don't
Meet
know.
your
Some
neighbor.
people ain't working.
Meet your neighbor.
Yeah,
Meet your neighbor. Real
Get up in
talk.
the house. Get up in the
Real
house.
talk.
Say, neighbor.
I'm for real.
Hi,
I'm gonna call
neighbor.
you out next episode. I want to know who your neighbor, the
I
name.
know my neighbors got that.
I know my neighbor. I know both my neighbors and the one across the street. I'm talking about who my daughter's friend is. I don't
Yeah.
know her dad. Her dad don't stay in the same house as her mom.
Got you.
Oh, okay.
So like,
That's a whole different situation.
I don't like I don't know how many
Yeah.
people come in the house, type stuff.
oh yeah, cause I'm gonna shut it down.
Hey, you talking about?
It's
Yeah, I
time
know.
to shut it down.
I don't want to have to come up and pull up like it's Osama bin Laden in the crib. That's all I'm saying.
Hey. Oh shit.
I'm
Exactly.
calling the whole SWAT team. We up in there. Like I'm shutting
Already.
down.
You know we coming. Hey, but
Hey.
but for real though, on God, Matt, yo, this episode been low key amazing. I love saying low key, bro. It's happened to be your name, but either way it go. All right, hey,
You supposed to drop
for
the
real.
tag, DJ Loki.
Hey, so what I want y'all to do though, if y'all got any like closing remarks that y'all want to leave the people, whether it be a book, comment, what y'all thinking, man? What y'all want to leave with the people that they gonna remember?
Yeah, I already put my challenge out there for y'all.
Oh, meet a neighbor.
I already put that first challenge out.
All right.
All right. Anybody
I
else
just
got
want
you
anything?
think
people to
next?
understand. I just want
Yeah,
people to
I'll get
understand
one.
Oh, okay,
what
go ahead,
Loki was saying earlier about social media. I just want people to understand my closing remarks is when you see all of this stuff on social media, I want you to think what actually goes on when the camera goes off. That's it.
What you said?
He ain't
All right.
lying.
He ain't. Not at all. That's just fact.
Behind the
Oh,
camera,
man.
trash. I'll tell you that much right now.
Man,
Trash.
life be life.
Hey, the only
Everybody
thing I have
human.
left. Yeah, the only thing I have left for everybody is just remember God is sovereign. So I'm gonna tell you, just remember God is sovereign. So regardless of what you think you're gonna do, He already has a plan.
Hey, message.
And
Don't put it on the
accept
He said I had to hit that message, but
what
hit
it,
it.
accept it for what it is, and understand you can't control, but only what you can control, which is you.
Oh,
And he already told you, yeah. God said yes. Remember that.
Hey.
All right, let me
I
see
ain't
what
got
I
no
got
message.
for you. I got something for you then. Since we all got kids, I'll say really just reflect on yourself. I was in the class today. I had 4 walls, no windows. Just really sit down and be like, if you can't sit in a room with 4 walls, no windows, and listen to a lecture for 4 hours, don't get on your kid for acting up. Like, think about how you be behaving in those spaces. If you ain't got no sunlight to release to, stop beating your kids for no reason. You can't handle that school day either. So just really get on their level, relate to your kids a little bit more, so you can really kind of like connect with them, and that might open up some rooms that you ain't even know you could get into with your children.
Facts.
Hey, make sure you weren't in jail.
Who?
We ain't talking about that this episode, but so gentlemen, what we like to say is not what you do, but how you do it. Dwell on the process of becoming better. And once again, thank you for listening to this conversation on the Black Gentlemen's Club. Subscribe, follow, and share, and may God grant blessings and peace among you.